there everyone, from me Sigmund. I'm very excited to sharing this information with you. Traditionally, when we looked at finance training for non-financial entrepreneurs, we approached the subject from the same way we did the accounts. We did it historically. There was almost a belief towards the second half of the last century that if you took an entrepreneur, you showed him how to calculate many of these financial concepts, and you also taught him how to draw up the books of accounts, he would automatically make a success of his business. But here is the crux. That training looked at 4 elements within a business. It looked at expenses, it looked at assets and liabilities, but it then looked at the gearing. And later on we realized we also have to bring in the tax effects, and in order to impart the knowledge to help people make a success out of their businesses. But that's all changed, because guess what? We were looking backwards, and entrepreneurs look forward. They make a decision now that affects the business next year. So we had to change our approach. Yes, we still relied on this 4-pillar approach and the 4 elements as we knew them. However, we realized that there's some underlying rules that underpin and create the foundation upon which we're going to build all these pillars. And those are the rules of financial survival. So we need to train the entrepreneur on identifying those rules and identifying the risks around those rules. They also need to understand how a decision they're making today is going to affect the future of their company and affect the future of their business's survival. But how do we achieve that? Well, in the 21st century, and here's the exciting thing, we have developed a tool that helps you as the entrepreneur understand finance, understand these 4 pillars and the concepts behind them, but also helps you understand what the future of the business is going to look like. So why am I so excited about it? Because you don't have to do long-winded accounting exercises to achieve this. Logic models are mind maps. They're pictures. You can see the picture. You can understand the logics within these models. And from that, you are able to grab hold of concepts like the accounting principles, the accounting equation, but not so much as to how do we calculate the accounting equation, because that's arithmetically quite easy, but how does the accounting equation help me make a better decision for my business going forward? When we look at the balance sheet reports, in the old traditional methods, we taught you how the balance sheet report looks. But from the logic models, you can actually see the interrelationship and the links between the various elements. You'll understand financial terms far easier. Working capital will become logical and will make total sense to you. Ratios like the asset test ratio will be second nature because the model gives you the mind map to have the insight around that ratio, and not the theory on how to calculate it, but how its interrelationship with other elements of the business work. With logic models, we don't just learn about the income statement and what the various elements are, but we also identify what is real in the income statement. We identify the flaws in the accounting language. Logic models helps you see those flaws and helps you see where those flaws develop and how the accounting methodology could mislead one into making the incorrect decision for your business. Aspects such as, what structure should I choose for my business? When one starts out with a small business, it grows. Should I make it an independent legal person? Should I incorporate this business? Or should I keep it as a sole owner and sole entrepreneur? Should I leave it in a partnership? Will that be better for me? And from all 4 elements, not just from the element of risk, because yes, with incorporating, we mitigate risks, But when we make certain decisions, we unwind that solution we had around those risks. And we do that unintentionally. This you will see through the insights that Logic Models gives you. There are many accounting terms that I came to grips with through the insight and through the aha moment from Logic Models. Turnover is analyzed into its elements. We understand the logics between vanity, sanity, and reality. But we also can see and visualize what the difference is between gross margin and gross contribution, for instance. And the Logic Models helps illustrate this. We highlight the risks that are not the obvious risks within a business. Sales are recorded when the risks transfer to the customer. But when does that take place? And does that risk really transfer? Or does the risk possibly remain? Logic Models made me question that and made me realize that many times, even though there was a contract in place, even though there were good solid agreements in place, the risk didn't transfer because there were other softer issues and facts that played out in that environment. And when one sees it in the Logic Models, one realizes how easily the pitfalls can trip one. Logic Models also teaches the mechanics of accounting ratios and why a ratio should be a 1:1 or a 2:1 or a 3:1, and why different businesses could have different numbers working for them here. If you want to do M4RI scans on your business, you need the insights in Logic Models. And through Impricus, we have found that in the majority of cases where companies started losing profits and started floundering and started getting into difficulties, one of the reasons was that the staff didn't understand the different elements of finance. And finance staff didn't actually understand the interrelationship between the various elements within the business. So financial understanding became paramount to the success of the business going forward and to the success of the entrepreneur making decisions today that were going to affect his future. Through Logic Models, new concepts came into being. Example, the FISO principle. This wasn't around 20 years ago. The BRHC principle and how people live by that concept and the reason why cash is king. But many people, even though they understand cash is king, still do not understand where they're undermining that process. The aim of this game is to make the business more profitable, and the aim of this course is to give you the insights you need to make informed decisions today for your future without having to do intricate accounting exercises and analytics. Enjoy this journey.